And welcome to the Pit Sports Talk on 88.3 WXOU. I cannot get enough of that intro. So glad I had that made for me. I am here today with Eric Deason, a good friend of mine. How are you, Eric? I'm doing fantastic. You're all smiles over there. All right. So, today, in this episode of The Pit, we're going to talk a little bit about the 2012 College Bowl season. Going to talk a little bit about Bowl Mania. Currently involved in that with Topher and Brian Everson. And I was in the lead for most of it, and Everson kind of took it and ran the ball. Not sure how I feel about that yet. I mean, I'm not too far behind him, but we'll get to that in a minute. Going to talk a little bit about, Michigan and Michigan State. I haven't been here for a little while, so, I got to catch up. Pretty much a catch-up day. Talk a little bit Oakland basketball. I got a couple short little things to talk about Oakland hockey and baseball. I was going to talk for a moment about Brock Lesnar's retiring, but I heard Pocket pretty much going off on that for quite a while, so yeah. I'm not even going to get involved with that. So, anyway, 2012 bowl season. So, how do you feel about it so far, Eric?
It's been definitely interesting. That Baylor-Washington game was nuts. The Clemson, West Virginia. What happened there at Clemson? Wow.
No, that was just insane. I mean, what was the final score? 70-33?
I thought it was 70 to like 24, 27. So I thought it was under 30. Either way, West Virginia.
Yeah,
showing way to redeem the Big East this season. Cause
there is no redeeming the Big East after that.
There was no way that I could have imagined them pulling out any sort of game for a BCS bowl berth. Like, they didn't. No team in the Big East this year seemed like they actually earned it, and they actually came in and put up quite a showing against a spectacular Clemson team this year.
Oh yeah, they did. That man, I cannot believe that game still. I mean, and that was a BCS bowl game.
I know.
That's what's just messed up about it, really. I mean, actually, you know what, to be fair, I've not been happy with any of these bowls so far this season.
Why is that?
They all seem like complete crap. Even the Michigan and Michigan State games. Because just sloppy offense, sloppy defense, and just no solid football. That's why I intern for a radio station in Ann Arbor now, and I heard them mention this morning that they're excited to see the LSU-Bama game because that's not going to be sloppy defense or offense, That's going to be a real football game. The rest of these just seem like... Don't get me wrong, they have been exciting. I mean, Michigan State and Michigan games, those two were exciting as all hell.
They definitely gave you the excitement factor, but to actually watch a quality football game that, is a fan of the sport in general, you enjoy a quality game where it's not just a thrill fest. Ooh, what's going to happen here? No, you want solid play throughout the whole thing, not in the fourth quarter all of a sudden, wow, okay, these teams have been playing like crap all game, but it's now a close game. Like, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
You'd prefer it to be just a solid play.
I mean, you don't want it to be close. Actually, you know what? I do want to take something back. I said all these games. This was my favorite game, and this was my hardest one to choose for the Bowl Mania Challenge, too. Stanford and Oklahoma State. That was an amazing game.
Absolutely.
And even though I chose Stanford and I lost there, I was happy with Oklahoma State. I mean, both these teams have been phenomenal all year. And there's even been a little bit of talk that Oklahoma State made what's the word I'm looking for? Like a statement saying that there should be a split championship.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole Texas Tech, Oklahoma thing from a couple of years ago where those three were vying for the Big 12 championship and who was going to play in the BCS championship game. And Texas got the short end of the stick, went into the Fiesta Bowl, much like Oklahoma State did, and played an amazing game, really made a statement that year that, hey, we should have been maybe more talks with that national championship game, just like Oklahoma State did this year.
Yep. Man, but that was a great game, and just across the board, I mean,
you couldn't have asked for a better played game at the quarterback position. Justin Blackman took over like he always does.
Yeah.
What do you have?
I mean,
I think he ended the game with 4 touchdowns, 220 yards. Like you couldn't have asked for a better offensive output.
I do want to say I am happy. All my listeners should know who my favorite teams are by now. I think you know. Yeah, you're giggling over there.
Of course I know. Come on, man.
So, well, first of all, before we get into that, maybe we should tell them why you know. I've been friends with this young man for, let's see, I want to say almost 13 years. So, yeah. Even though we started off hating each other and beating each other up every day after school.
I'd like to actually retract that. I never once beat him up. He just loved, him and his friends at the time loved throwing my backpack up in a tree and watching me have to scamper up there and get it. I don't understand, but.
Hey, that was good fun. And then do you remember a couple years ago when I gave you all those black eyes?
Yeah. Still owe you for those, don't I?
How many? 3?
2.
All right. This is getting off track now. Anyway. There's your backstory for you as to how he knows so well. So, Michigan, Florida, Michigan State, Boise, Texas, and then the entire SEC after that. Even the teams that suck. So, those are my schools. And excluding, the entirety of the SEC, that one I'd just kind of throw in to get under people's skins. But let's see. But all those 5 schools, all 5 of them won. And I was happy. I was worried about Michigan there because I was like, if Michigan's the team that gives me a loss on my 5 favorite schools, and Michigan's the one that loses, is like Florida's had a bad year. Michigan State always blows it in a bowl game. Boise, well. I was expecting Boise to win, but Texas didn't have that great of a season either. So
I was real happy to see them get that game.
Oh, man, I don't know though. I am happy. Michigan played hard. Michigan State played hard. But I'm a little bit irritated with those two. Now, before I get into that, we've been playing the College Bowl Mania. Brian Everson and Topher, a couple other people like Kevin Romanchik over at the Oakland Post, a couple other people here at WXOU. We're all going to get in on it. You know me, Eric. I'm lazy when it comes to sending out email invites. I actually sent you one, but it was like after the first game and nobody could get in anyway. So
yeah, you were a little short on the ball there. But.
Yeah. Well, so we were going to have all of these, sports people in on it, and we only got Everson, Topher, and myself, which is good enough because if I can rub Topher's face in it and then get a win over Everson, hey, I'm happy with that. But after that, adding all those up, because before, pretty much once break started, my record here on the show was 10-2-1. Now it's 31-10-3, which, there's still some games left, so you never know. I might get some losses. I still have Alabama in the BCS title game. Again, I chose them last time, lost. It's probably worse that I'm choosing them this time, come to think of it, because they're actually playing in Louisiana, and even that's just it's an away game. Even though they're billed as being away, but they're actually away, and for LSU, they are actually home. So each school's like an hour away.
It's an odd predicament right there.
But I'm still taking Alabama. But, see, that third score, though, or that third, notch on the record, I do mine a little bit differently. If I see something, maybe if I lose, the one was I chose Alabama the first time, but I also said it'd be a great defensive game. Alabama lost, but that was such a great game. I put them in there anyway. And I'm like, you know what? It's not going to be a loss. It's not going to be a win. Make a third bracket over there. It's going to be games that I either, that there's just some flaw with. And even though Michigan and Michigan State won, and I chose them both to win, and I'm happy about it, I'm really angry because I'm sick of all the fans arguing. There are people here at WXOU, people I see on Twitter or Facebook, just mocking each other's teams, complaining about the other one. It's like, it's football. Get over it. Jesus. I'm going to come and kick you in the knees. I mean, come on. I've seen, like, I've seen people on Twitter. I'm not going to throw out names, but I've seen people on Twitter badmouth the Spartans, and the Spartans, on the other hand, do the same thing. And it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe when you guys are playing a game together, hey, trash talk all you want, put down the other one. I'm okay with that. But when you're about a year away from playing again, just shut up. You're over there laughing because you're probably one of them.
Well, the way I look at it, man, that's the part of the rivalry. If you're a diehard Michigan fan, chances are you hate State. All right, you don't want to see them do well. You don't want to see them have a good season. You definitely don't want to see them win a bowl game.
I like the way
all right, you're gonna trash that team you hate. Like I despise Ohio State. Couldn't be happier they lost their bowl game. Couldn't be happier they lost all that talent. Couldn't be happier
actually,
that
I
they
want
had
to say
a terrible
something there.
season.
Okay, you know how this whole thing started between me and Matt. Ohio State. He's a big Ohio State guy, and I'm a big Florida guy. Mm-hmm. And we had that rematch, and I actually chose Ohio State over Florida because I had more faith in the Buckeyes to win than I did Florida. And I'm not a Buckeyes fan. I'm not. But I was trying to pick the best logical way to win.
Braxton Miller's impressive. That's all I have to say about Ohio State. He is impressive, and he's going to give the Big Ten a scare next year.
Okay. Man.
He is. There's nothing else I can say, especially with Urban Meyer
with
coming
Urban
in
Meyer,
as head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, next year is going to be interesting in the Big Ten. I don't see a whole lot of teams really challenging Michigan, per se, unless Wisconsin can do something to get in, get a quarterback again this year, pull some strings like they did for Wilson. State, they're losing everything. I see Michigan having a pretty damn near solid lock to get that Big Ten title next year, but watch out for Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State, I think maybe not next year, but definitely the year after they're coming back. Let's see. Michigan's going to come back. That's kind of a gripe, though, I still have against Michigan this year.
What's that?
Now, I'm happy they made it to a BCS Bowl. I really am. And I'm not going to complain about it like everybody else, but this is a legitimate argument. And I think I've said it on the last episode before break, that Michigan got into the BCS simply due to the way it's set up. Because Michigan played only one of the pretty much three best teams in the Big Ten this year. Before all the stuff happened, Penn State was one of them. They kind of fell off, at the very end of the season. But for most of the season, Penn State was one of the top three teams. Then Wisconsin and Michigan State. Michigan only played Michigan State and lost. Now they did beat Nebraska.
Beat down on Nebraska.
Yeah. And that they had some quality wins. I mean, over Notre Dame. I mean,
I don't know how quality of a win you can call that, but
it was more of a quality than just winning over Purdue.
Well, of course. I mean, it's Purdue.
And I'm happy Michigan got to where they were, but I still think it should have been flip-flopped, or
it was a little unearned.
Yeah. I mean, actually, maybe not even flip-flop, because I do stand by the point, or the fact that Michigan State had a chance. They played a damn good game, and they couldn't get in. I mean, they almost had it. That was not a bad game. The Big Ten championship. I love that.
Very well thought out game.
And it was just, it was just kind of like, Michigan State probably shouldn't have went to a BCS game either because of that loss.
They had
their
the way
chance.
I see it, they had their chance in the Big Ten championship game. They lost.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You're going to drop in rankings.
I would have said maybe, I'd say maybe the Cotton Bowl. That's not a BCS game, is it? See, I get confused with the Cotton Bowl. Let's not even talk about that one.
But bring that in.
Let's say the Capital One Bowl or the Outback Bowl. Those are two pretty big bowls that aren't BCS games.
Right.
And I would have loved to see. I mean, Michigan State was in one, and then Michigan in the other one. I mean, Houston should have been in one of those.
Definitely.
And I mean, even though I'm not sure how it would have went, but then again, Houston won their bowl game.
Yeah.
So. I mean, yeah. It's just like
that's the issue with the BCS and their bowl games.
And I actually
because it's not necessarily always the fairest matchup of teams going against each other.
Yeah,
just because of the way it's set up.
I think they got it right though with 1 through 4.
Yeah,
because I don't care about rematch, whatever. I mean, LSU and Bama.
It bugs me it's a rematch, but at the same time, I get it. It's the top 2 teams in the nation. Fine.
Well, yeah, and. But they are, like you said, the best 2 teams. Mm-hmm. And then Oklahoma State and Stanford were the next ones.
You had to.
Those, I mean, the Stanford game already proved that was the best bowl game this season so far. Yeah. And, the BCS got those 2 right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I am a fan of the system, but there does need to be like a +1. There's got to be something in there. So,
they've been saying it for years.
Oh yeah. But anyway, so my record is now 31-10-3, like I said. So I mean, it's a fun little, I guess, competition I'm having against myself, really, because I'm not going up against anybody. I mean, when we started the Bowl Mania thing, I thought about going against everybody and counting just if I win or lose. Depending on where I rank in the end, that'd be my record. But instead, I decided to go with just making all the bowl games on my record because I figured that'd be a little bit of a challenge, And it's a challenge I'm getting right so far. I mean, I've got 8 losses and, 23 wins. So, I mean.
Can't complain there.
Yeah.
Picking the games right.
Yep. But we're going to go to a break here. You're listening to The Pit. I'm Damien Dennis here with Eric Deason. Stay tuned. We'll have more for you here on 88.3 WXOU, Auburn Hills.
Holla.
And welcome back to The Pit. Sports Talk here on 88.3 WXOU. I'm Damien Dennis here with apparently a man who's bumping to the beat right now, Mr. Eric Deason.
It's a sick intro, man.
I know. The intro was actually produced by Kevin Spees, who I'm trying to get in next week. Might not be for a couple weeks still, but we're going to have a music edition of The Pit. And you know Kevin. We've all been friends for all 13 of these years. And knowing him, he's going to come in with that acoustic guitar and force me to sing with him.
Yeah, just so all you listeners out there, don't be impressed by the singing. It's not that cool. I mean, so the guy strums a guitar and says a few words.
Yeah, I know. I'm better. Remember, there has been that rumor we're twins, but I'm the sexier version, and he's just the, guitar playing one. So
I mean, that automatically makes him cooler, though.
Yeah, until he stops playing. We love you, Kevin, wherever you are. He's actually talking to me on Facebook, so. And just because if I don't do this, apparently I might get fired from the Post because I don't know. I just don't know, but Nicole and Stephanie next door workers, editor-in-chief and some, campus editor, assistant editor, they want a shout-out, so that's their shout-out. Pretty much, lazy and unmotivated to do it, but I was told I'd get kicked if I didn't, so.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know what any of them do. really. I pay attention to myself, and I mean, I had to get on an intern's case earlier, and yeah, that was actually fun. I'll tell you that story after we go off air. So,
I'd love to hear it.
For the rest of the show, and I know you won't be too informed on this, but I might not spend too much on it because I'm not a big fan of the sport. I'm a fan of the team, though. But Oakland basketball is not doing too well so far this season. The record's 8-10, and they're currently on pretty much a 6-game losing streak. And 4 of those 6 games have been Summit League games, so you know that it's not going good for the Golden Grizzlies. I mean,
no. And you're right. I don't know nothing about the team itself, but 8-10, 6-game losing streak.
Yeah.
4 conference
Well,
games.
see, I wish I had a laptop I could give you. I can't really give you mine, and you know we kind of arranged this on the fly, so I couldn't tell you to get here with one. But basically, what Oakland basketball has been doing is relying too much on like one guy. Reggie Hamilton, he's a phenomenal point guard for the Grizzlies, and he is just, I mean, he's a great guy, he's a great player, but they're putting too much on his shoulders. You know, nobody else on the team seems to not be working as hard, I guess. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus and say, oh, they suck or something, because they don't suck, and especially if I were to play them in basketball, I mean,
Damien,
the only
way you beat me in basketball
is because I give you a black eye. Yeah.
Like, come on.
No.
You're no stud.
No. Maybe in football, if I'm not going against you, which also resulted in you getting black eyes. But, you know, we should.
That's why we don't play sports anymore.
Yeah. Or video games too often.
Yeah. Anyway.
We should just banter for, like, the last half, or not half, but, like, the last half of this half.
Oh.
We could banter about some crazy stuff.
Yeah, we could. Or we could talk sports like we're here to do.
Well, yeah, but that's usually what we talk about anyway, because everything else we talk about can't go on the air.
True.
Yeah.
True. Got a point there.
I mean, we could talk about some of that stuff, but might not be user friendly.
You start the conversation then, sir.
Okay. So Oakland is kind of on a. I mean, everybody expected this. So after Keith Benson left last year, he got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Eventually got waived. So I think that happened over break. I think, or maybe it was the last episode. I can't recall off the top of my head right now. But you know. And nobody thought that Oakland would have another year like last year when Keto was still here. But, you know, we basically thought that it wouldn't be this bad. And Oakland's still not out of it yet. More than likely they will make the Summit League tournament, but they are not going to win it. Yeah, you know, I'll put that against my record. They will not win the Summit League tournament. And you know, that sucks to say. I mean, especially since this is my senior year. Next year, I graduate in the upcoming December, you know, like 5 days before the world ends. And, you know, I'm only going to get to see a little bit of Oakland basketball next year, at least as a student, you know. So, I mean, it's kind of a kick in the groin, punch in the groin. Oh, that just gave me an idea.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
you're really bad at that game. Remember that.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say.
I know. This is why I love my show. We can just go off on something random. You say one thing, and we can just go off. I mean, there's no format I have to follow. I mean, we could just banter here for about next like 20 minutes about that game that you and another friend of ours developed.
Mr. Steven Wojciechowski.
Yeah, and pretty much all we did was hit each other in the groin.
Was
I don't like that game. That game hurts.
You see, the only way you can actually enjoy playing
is if
that
you
game,
win and don't get hit.
No, actually not even. Like, you have to just get joy in the fact that even though you just got hit, all right, this is
He's
the way
getting it back.
This is the way your mind's got to work. Is that I'm gonna get that sucker back just as hard, if not harder. And if you can relish in that fact and then actually go through on it, oh yeah, you like the game.
We are twisted. We are very twisted. So I mean, I don't know how to follow up with that. Well, Oakland hockey. This is how I'll follow up with that. I just wrote an article for the Oakland Post. Hasn't been published yet. I think it's only going online because the newspaper itself has the sports section is pretty much dedicated to basketball this time of year, which makes sense.
Most sports networks are dedicated to basketball.
Yeah, but that makes sense. I mean, the biggest sport we have here is basketball. So, but I wrote an article on Oakland hockey, and nothing big, but it's pretty much about a fundraiser they're having this Sunday at what is it, Avon North Hill Lanes on Tinkin. Yeah, you were right there. I said and it's just a bowling fundraiser. They're trying to raise money because the Oakland hockey team is a club sport here on campus, and that means they don't get a lot of funding from the school. They get what did they tell me? I think like maybe $5,000, and their whole budget is $100,000.
Oh wow!
So they don't get anything. They have to rent out the Onyx Ice Arena. They have to pay an ice bill. They have to pay for all their own traveling. Each player has to pay $2,500 to play, and then provide their own equipment at that. So they have some pretty big fundraisers to try and earn money. So this bowling fundraiser is essentially that. They are trying to raise money just to help them meet that budget, because whatever they don't make, like let's say they're like even $1,000 shy at the end of the season, the players are going to have to pay that. The players and the coaches, so it's not a good thing. So they're trying to raise money, and it's going to be a bowling event. It's $25 to register. You do it at the door, and it's basically just 2 games of bowling. You get your shoes, you get free pizza. There's going to be a raffle. You're going to get to meet the team, and they're all great guys. I've had them in here a couple times. I've written, 5 stories so far for the Post. So I'm pretty much the Oakland hockey beat writer now at this point. So it's a lot of fun. And I've been to a couple of their games. I saw the first game in the Good Luck Duck series, which was amazing. Shut Davenport out. And they destroyed Buffalo at the first game I went to. So, I mean, it's a really good team to watch, especially if you like hockey. Do you like hockey, Eric?
It's not my favorite sport, but I can get into it if I have to.
Get into it for $2. That's how much it costs for Oakland students anyway. Yeah. $2 with your student ID to get in, and when we let out a little secret, they don't check that often. So
good to know.
Can maybe sneak someone in who isn't an Oakland student. But still, either way, I always have mine out. And at this point, they're all starting to get to know me, so it's just a lot of fun. And I mean, I don't really know what else to say there. I mean, the Oakland hockey guys are great. The next portion of games in the Good Luck Duck series is February 3rd and 4th, I believe. And pretty much if Oakland wins both those games, they get a duck. Literally, it's a wooden duck that they paint in the OU colors. So, but Davenport's had it for 4 years. Oakland had it the first year of the series. So, and whoever wins the duck so far has always won nationals.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's kind of like a big game for the hockey guys. It's a lot of fun, though.
Sounds like it.
Oh, yeah. So, I got a couple more things. But I want to ask you, Eric, if you got anything sports related you want to talk about. Anything specific. Anything that you just want to get off your chest, even. Any annoyances, anything you've seen that you loved.
Trying to think. I'm thinking about what's What's this game going with the Lions this weekend?
Yeah.
Are you feeling about that? The Lions
what?
themselves
I'm
have
really-
not beaten any playoff, every team in the NFC playoffs.
Yeah.
The Lions have lost to. Okay.
Yeah.
Every team except for the Giants. I'm sorry, and they didn't play the Giants this year though. So 4 out of the 5 other teams in the playoffs are 4 of the 6 losses the Lions have this year.
Yeah.
They haven't been playing that great. They had a lot of issues against that Saints team that, and I've heard a lot of people say, oh, without those foul penalties, it would have been a good game. I don't think so. The Saints offense is just too high-powered and too fast for our Lions D.
You know me. I don't care about the Lions at all. I really don't.
No.
I'm sorry to anyone who's listening and wants me to care.
You hate them, and it makes me want to strangle you.
Yeah. But it's okay, because I hate you, and you make me just want to strangle you. So, But the Lions, didn't they play the Saints a couple of weeks ago? Wasn't that the first game, and Damien was
That was the first game of his suspension, yeah.
Yeah, because maybe that... I mean, I'm not going to sit here and make an excuse for the Lions, because I really don't care, but maybe that played a part in it. Because, I mean,
how big of a force has WXOU been actually this year for us?
I don't know for sure about that, but it does seem like he's had some play. I mean he's had some part.
His influence mostly on the season has been more negative than it has positive, with his the way he's been playing.
You almost called him a dirty player. Don't call him a dirty player. You're gonna get in trouble.
I can't call him a dirty player because I love the guy, and he's a phenomenal asset to the team, but he hasn't been the big oomph behind that defensive line that I think he was his rookie season. He went down a little bit. He's afraid to be labeled as a dirty player, and I think that's affecting his play more than anything. And then getting that suspension kind of demoralized the team, so that didn't help. Maybe with having him back, our defense gets a little bit more confident. But look what Green Bay did to us last week with a backup quarterback, their number one wide receiver out.
That is true.
No real running game to speak of, and they put up 45 points on us. The Saints, I'm sorry.
Didn't we put up, what was it, 41?
We lost like 41, 45, something along the... our offense kept up, but...
Then again, Matt Stafford is a superstar. Me and Garrett Elliott talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Of course he is. Him, Johnson, you can't deny that. But is Stafford and Johnson enough to help for a defense that... I'm sorry, you're not going to stop Drew Brees. You're not going to stop the 6 different receivers he can throw it to at any given time on the field. He just has an amazing core that he can throw to any which one, and it's gonna they're gonna run it all over us. They just don't see our defense stopping them, and it really is gonna boil down to, can our offense keep up with theirs?
That's a really interesting point. A lot of the people I talk to are just so hung up on the Lions. Which, I get because they are in the playoffs for the first time in 12 years. But I just don't get how you're pretty much more intelligent than any of them. Because they're all like, oh, the Lions can win. Or even the ones who say, like, I don't think they're going to win, but they have a chance. It's like, okay, yes, they have a chance. But
everybody has a chance, okay? But just
Dallas had a chance to get in.
They had a chance to get in. They didn't.
The Jets had a chance to get in.
Yeah.
Denver's had plenty of chances, and they still got them.
Still lucked out to get in. How? And just real quick, all you Tebow lovers, I hate you. Okay, I hate Tebow. All right.
No.
I don't hate the personality, but the player, as a player,
actually, no, you can't.
Really,
can't even hate him as a player. What you have to hate,
8 for 22.
You pretty much have.
Really?
Yeah, you have to hate.
You call that a quarterback? 8 for 22.
You have to hate everything around him, though, because everyone else. The Denver fans are chanting his name while Orton was still playing there.
Yeah. No.
Last year.
Denver. You. I just don't understand you. Don't understand how you want.
Tebow's gotten better, but like you said, 8 and 22. I could do that in the NFL.
Yeah.
I could do that.
8 and 22.
However, I will say this: I cannot throw a ball. Yeah, I said bar. Apparently, I have drinking on the mind. That's not a good thing. But they had the, I can't throw a ball probably further than what? You say maybe like 30 yards?
If you're lucky.
An NFL size football.
If you're lucky, 30
yards. Because, I don't have
a
pro player's hand, so.
No.
I could not grip that ball, but even I could throw 8 for 22 for maybe like, I don't know, 50 yards. I pretty much would be Tim Tebow without the running ability.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll give it up to the guy. He's a phenomenal athlete. He wills teams to win.
No,
but that's not enough for an NFL-style quarterback. Not.
I think he would make a great coach because he's got this ability to just
rally people.
Yeah.
He rallies people.
Now, because of the way he's been taught and the way he's played, I don't think he'd be an NFL coach, though. But, I mean, still, even college,
yeah.
I could see him going back to Florida and being a coach. That would be amazing, especially for me, even more especially because Urban Meyer had to be a traitor and go to freaking Ohio State. Frickin' hell.
Curse words. That's all I have to say about Urban Meyer.
Yeah, curse words. Expletive, maybe another expletive. Drink a shot of gin, 14 more expletives, and then you realize you forgot what you were talking about.
Then someone says Urban Meyer, and it's all over.
Yeah. Then it starts over again. It's an endless cycle of hate. Ugh. Well. So, I think that's what I need to do here. I still got my picks for Bowl Mania.
Okay. What games you got left?
Ooh, I'd have to look into that. I know the Cotton Bowl. Let's see. I have to bring that up before I can actually tell. See, there's the GoDaddy Bowl,
Ooh.
Arkansas State and Northern Illinois. Now, I actually talked about this game with some people over the weekend. Matt Pocket here, Garrett Elliott, Dan Fenner over at the Oakland Press, and Everson. Yeah, I almost forgot his name. He wasn't here today, so everyone's been forgetting him. Poor guy. But we were all talking about who we chose for the GoDaddy Bowl. We're all pretty much Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Northern Illinois or over Arkansas State?
I'm not too familiar with Arkansas State. Northern Illinois is usually a decently solid program. See what happens.
Now we got the Compass Bowl. SMU versus Pitt. You know, Big East, Pittsburgh's in the Big East.
Right.
The record's 6-6. Going up against SMU, whose record's 7-5. If you just go based off the record, I'd rather take SMU, but
yeah, I'm not. Pitt, they had 1 year where I thought they were actually pretty legit, but it seems since then they're just another Big East team that doesn't belong.
All the Big East teams are nothing more than Big East teams. Wait until next year when Boise's there. Then we can all be happy.
Yeah. The Boise hopefully will bring some redemption to the Big East.
Definitely. Let's see. I got my phone out. I chose Southern Methodist in that game.
Okay.
So SMU. I chose Northern Illinois. Then we got the Arkansas, Kansas State in the Cotton Bowl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That one.
I chose Arkansas on that.
Yeah.
Because Kansas State played pretty great this year, but so did Arkansas.
It's so hard to pick when you're dealing with two teams. Then one's from the SEC and one's from the Big 12. It's really hard not to pick the SEC just in general. The conference as a whole goes through so many challenges within themselves that by the time they get to an outside force, they're already so battle proven that even if their record is 7-5, I'd still pick a 7-5 Arkansas over a 12-0 Kansas State.
Yep.
You just have to.
And that's kind of the mentality all of us are under, like sports fans and sports analysis and reporters and broadcasters, because the SEC's been so dominant for pretty much since the inception of the BCS. They've got the most winning.
The last team to win from a non-SEC conference team to win the national championship was in 2006 when Texas and USC played each other.
Yeah.
That was the last time. That was actually the last time that the SEC was not in the game.
Yeah.
And
now this year we got 2 SEC games in the teams. Man, you know what? I'm running off 3 hours of sleep in the last 2 days, so you gotta work with me. All my listeners, you just gotta fight through my stumbling over myself. Oh, it's been hell.
Yeah.
Oh. I was falling asleep before you came in.
That's cool. I was falling asleep waiting for my boss to call me today. It was nice.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Then we got Alabama and LSU, and I already said Bama, so.
Man, I'm going to give it to LSU.
All right.
I'm going to give it up. They're going to, for the love of God, it better be better than a 9-6 game offensively. But you know what? Even though it was 9-6 last time, I'm not complaining. Defense wins championships, and that's the way it's going to be.
I had Alabama over LSU 24-17. They're actually going to get some offense going.
They better.
But it's going to be that close of a game, and I don't know if you want to call that low scoring. I mean, these days it's do.
About,
but
yeah, I guess I would say that's more of an average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but my pick, I guess, another thing to add to my record, I'm going to take Saints over Lions. It's probably a safe choice. It
is a safe choice.
See, I always try to take the biggest game of the week, whether it be for around here or just in general. And it's always an obvious choice, though.
Well,
it's like, can we not have, like, the Saints and Packers play? That would be hell for me to choose. I'd probably go with the Packers because I'm a Packers fan, but Drew Brees is a beast.
Drew Brees, I think, is the one who's going to give the Packers the most trouble in the playoffs this year. I think it's going to come down to those two teams. Whoever wins that game wins the Super Bowl.
Definitely. Maybe not the Super Bowl, though. I mean, the AFC, though. I mean, the AFC is just a complete joke.
The AFC is a complete joke?
Yeah.
What?
And even my Patriots are in there.
What?
So.
How are they a joke? Look at the AFC North alone. 3 teams are in the playoffs.
Yeah. And they're 3 teams that can't hold a candlestick itself to the NFC North.
I would pick...
Before Jay Cutler and Matt Forte got hurt. I have to throw that because I said the NFC North. So.
Okay, that's fair. I would pick Pittsburgh and the Ravens to beat any team but the Packers in the NFC North. Even with Jay Cutler and Matt Forte. Okay, the Bengals, it'd be an interesting game to see the Lions or Bears play the Bengals.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But
otherwise,
come on, you're taking...
But look at it this way. The NFC, even the Giants and Cowboys, they were not, phenomenal this year, but even those two teams could light up if they came with their A game, mind you. I don't know what's wrong with those two teams, but they could light up the entire AFC. I mean, even the Patriots. I love the Patriots. I'm such a Tom Brady nut, and
get off his.
And it's just, they have no defense. What are they gonna do? They're gonna be like Oakland, relying on Reggie Hamilton.
That's why I pointed out the Steelers and the Ravens.
Yeah,
because they're getting there on their defense.
Yeah,
it's their defense that's making them that. All right. Unfortunately, the Ravens are stuck with Joe Flacco, and unfortunately, the Steelers are stuck with Ben Roethlisberger. 2 subpar quarterbacks, but their defense is getting them there.
Yeah,
and that's why I would take them over the AFC. I take them over the NFC.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to put the Saints and Ravens.
All right.
Super Bowl matchup.
I can dig that.
Unfortunately, I'm calling the Saints because that means I'm picking against my beloved Lions, but I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah,
I got to be realistic.
The Lions are a great team this year, though.
I'll
never take anything away from that.
You better not. I'll kick you.
I love Matt Stafford. He is a beast. He's just like Drew Brees.
I have been telling you all year.
No, you haven't.
I've
talked to you like 3 times all season.
No, that is a lie. Do not lie
about
to me.
Football. So it's about time we get going here now, though.
Aw, already?
Yeah. Already. the hour's pretty much up. We do have 3 minutes, but it's kind of slow at the end, I mean, we could banter for another 2 minutes.
The only reason why it's slow at the end is because your mind is a little slow. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, so you're gonna go with the insults. It's gonna be like when Topher's here, only somebody who has a louder voice and a deeper voice, a much sexier voice. Oh, that's me.
Well, thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh baby. Man, you just called me slow.
I did.
Man.
And it took this long for it to actually register.
No,
Hence the slow comment.
I was pretty much just admiring my reflection in my laptop screen.
I still don't get where you see this sexy man.
I don't see where you.
I don't.
Well, that's because you have no self-esteem, and I've got an ego through the roof.
Yeah, eventually I'll bring that down.
My ego?
Yes.
How?
I don't
Please
know
don't hurt me. All right, let's get going. Well, thank you for listening to the Pit Sports Talk on 88.3 WXOU. I'm Damien Dennis. Catch me next Friday, same time.